last time we spoke, we found out together that our friend Charlie Kirk had died. It's unbelievable. Still to this moment, you can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's stunning that because of somebody saying words and welcoming open debate, he's no longer with us. I think
Yeah.
you and I probably agree that there was going to be a vacuum because he was such a huge giant in the space. And that vacuum is happening, and people appear, Ben, to be jockeying for position where Charlie Kirk was. TPUSA is doing the right thing, but now there's a fight between Candace and Tucker and Megan and everybody else in between. What do you make of this? Are people jockeying to be the leader? Because I don't think Charlie ever walked around and said, I'm the leader. He just happened to be that because the messaging was so good. What do you think is likely to happen? What do you think about all this infighting on our side?
Well, that's human nature. So, we're not going to probably change human nature unless you change people's heart. And we can continue to work on that. There's no question about it. But remember who Charlie was and what he represents. Charlie was a communicator, and they don't mind communicators, but they mind communicators to whom people listen.
Yes.
And that's why they had to get rid of him. And that's why they tried to get rid of Trump also. But God's not ready for him yet. And so they're not going to take him out until it's possible. It's not possible if God's not for it.
I couldn't agree more. Charlie was somebody who, as I said, welcomed everybody from every side, and he was willing to sit down with people who vehemently disagreed with him, and many times he got through. Generation Z, men who are Generation Z, voted for Trump because of Charlie Kirk, I believe. Now we see in New York, Generation Z women, 84% voted for Memdani and voted for socialism. So there is a void there, and I don't think the infighting is allowing any information to come out that actually helps people. What do we do going forward? Go ahead.
What we have to recognize is that the Marxists and those who want to fundamentally change our nation can only do so if we help them.
Right.
If we, the useful idiots, if we don't recognize that what they're trying to do is pit us against each other. A house divided against itself cannot stand. They can't overcome us militarily. The only way they can overcome us is if we destroy ourselves. And we have to be smart enough to recognize that we're being played, that we're pawns, that they're manipulating us. We're not the first nation to have that happen. If you read your history, you'll know that this is a tactic that they use. And we have to be smart enough. The only way they can succeed is if they succeed in dumbing us down.
Is there a reason, Doc, you can think of that the left always circles the wagons and the right is always willing to eat their own? I don't understand. Is it that the right is okay with varying opinions on the same spectrum and the left isn't? I mean, but the left always comes out with better messaging, it seems. And now that Charlie's gone, that major message is not there every day on college campuses from him specifically. Why does the right, do you think, why does it always have this compulsion to go after each other before they go after the other side? It's very strange.
Well, there is such a thing as evil.
Okay.
And it does have an influence. And honestly, our only salvation is in God.
I mean, I couldn't even agree more. That's my salvation, certainly, and I wish it would be their salvation as well. But you've got people who, again, pretend they're on your side and my side. I guess what I'm asking is, because you're probably the smartest guy I know, and I mean that sincerely. What I'm asking is, how do we fix it? Because there's a need for you. There's a need for me and Candace and Tucker and everybody on every side. There's a need for us to keep on putting out the truth in the face of that evil that I believe lives on the left. And it's not happening right now because they're busy punching each other in the face. What advice would you have for those who are influencers in the midst of all this?
Somehow we have to get the message across that we are not enemies. WANE. We are not enemies.
Yeah.
And unless we can get that message through, I hate to say it, but our future is not bright. If we can get it through, work together, recognize that you can still be friendly, even if you disagree. If two people agree about everything, one of them isn't necessary.
Right.
And everybody's necessary. We just need to learn to sit down with each other, put the facts on the middle of the table, and talk based on the facts and not on ideology.
One Nation, What We Can All Do to Save America's Future is the book from Dr. Ben Carson. If you don't mind, foreshadow what's going to happen in the midterms. Do you think Mamdani winning and this guy Jay Jones in Virginia, who literally wrote that he would like to see 2 bullets in the head of his opponent, who is the House Speaker in Virginia. Those elections looked really, really blue. The election on Prop 50 in California, but they're very blue areas anyway. Will that resonate with voters a year from now to keep the House in the hands of conservatives, keep the Senate in the hands of Republicans, so that President Trump's agenda can continue? Or are those going to embolden the left to say, hey, we can get control back?
Our founders studied every society that had ever existed before, and they knew about the rise of radicals who try to take over and change things. But they built a fail-safe into our system, and that fail-safe is called we the people. And I believe when the midterms come up, we the people are smart enough to be able to look down the pike and see where each of these pathways leads, and they will vote accordingly.
What would you like to see the president do in the next year to ensure that he's not a lame duck? And again, I agree with you that if people are actually using information and they're opening their minds to understanding what's really going on, that they'll vote Republican or conservative and will keep the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Should he be able to continue? In the next year, it's going to be vital for him, because if he's on the ballot, and he will be, not his name, but he will be, his policies will be, what does he need to do, in your opinion, from now to 1 year from now to make sure that that vote happens the right way?
He needs to be Donald Trump. He needs to go out on the road. He needs to talk to the people. There are very few people who can communicate the way he does. And he brings a certain excitement and a certain confidence with him. And the people need that. They thrive on that. And I believe that that's why he's president.
I think it's a great point. I mean, he's on TV every day. He's the most transparent president you and I have ever seen in our lifetimes, but he is not doing the big rallies. He's not doing the big gatherings, the big get-togethers. So you like to see him back in the arenas, back in the places where people can actually see, feel, smell, and touch what he's bringing.
I'd like to see him do both. The more he's out, he is the best spokesman. There's nobody else right now who can have the same effect that he has.
In closing, can I ask you something completely off the beaten path about Tylenol? You're somebody who studies this stuff. The studies appear to be that pregnant women should be careful when it comes to acetaminophen or Tylenol. I've got a daughter who's pregnant. I'm very concerned about that. What are your thoughts on that? Do these studies look strong enough that pregnant women should probably be careful before taking something like that?
Pregnant women should be careful about anything they put into their body. They should make sure that it's absolutely necessary, and they should work with their physician to make that determination. I wouldn't just take it because you're used to taking it, because that baby and the development of that baby is incredible. It's very fast. You know, at the fastest point, you're developing millions of neurons every day. So you need to be very careful about the substrate that you're putting in there, which is going to compose the cells that are generated.
That's a great answer. You know, on the label of Tylenol, it says pregnant women should consult their physician. That's what you just said. I mean, bottom line, you should talk to your doctor. But have you been able to read the studies? Does it appear as though there's something there?
It does appear to be something, particularly if you take large amounts of it. But, you know, even before the studies are done, the general principle is if you're pregnant, you are the guardian of that baby. And you need to be extremely conscientious in terms of what you're putting in your body. Even if you can't stand not eating things that aren't healthy, you can do it for 9 months. That's not that long. Think about the baby.
Amazing advice as always. Dr. Ben Carson in his book, One Nation, What We Can All Do to Save America's Future. Thanks for making time today on short notice, Doc, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thanks, Joe.